weekend here in Huntsville, Alabama. I've got my friend and partner lender, Jonathan McDowell, here with us this morning. And once again, because the home mortgage market is such a hot topic right now, I asked Jonathan to come join us today and to talk more about what he's seeing. And Jonathan, you and I had a conversation earlier about just volatility. And that seems to be kind of the topic of choice right now in interest rates specifically. And so, what can you tell us about interest rate volatility?
Sure. Well, good morning, Ben. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Interest rates have been quite volatile for the past couple of months, specifically the past couple of weeks. Um, we have seen the market shift several times throughout even one day. Um,
wow,
so, the biggest thing that I would suggest with talking with my clients and anybody asking the question, what
hmm
with the volatility of the market, is if you are proposed a loan scenario that you like and are unsure with what the market's going to do, it's okay to go ahead and lock that in, and we can continue to watch the market for potential drops and do free float downs with lowering the rate. Um,
okay,
you technically could shift lenders. We have many lenders that we offer here at Southern Fidelity Mortgage. And so if it is in a great benefit to the client, we could actually shift the file to a whole new underwriter and still close on time,
okay,
taking advantage of a lower rate. So
okay,
we have a lot of avenues that we can be flexible with. Um, that would be the biggest thing with the volatility is just being willing to go ahead and make a decision quickly because
sure,
that could disappear on you. The
right,
you are
right.
exposed.
And
So
you're saying if it gets better between when you lock in and when you close, you can float down. What's the latest? I already know the answer to this because you just did it recently. What's the latest you can float down a rate
so
before closing?
I have been able to take advantage of a free float down just hours before a closing or
Yeah,
an hour or less than an hour. So,
yeah,
as long as there's enough time to revise that closing disclosure that um, is passed along to the whole party at closing table, let's go ahead and take advantage of it. And
yeah.
a lot of times when it's last minute like that, I don't even have an opportunity to talk to the client to let
Yeah,
them happening. I just see the market shift, take advantage. It costs no more to the client, and they just have a lower rate. So they get that
okay.
buys at the closing table. So that's
And
all.
you check that? Do you always check that, like, the morning of closing or
I,
right before closing?
uh,
Okay,
we actually have alerts set up on our computer, our phones. We subscribe to software that watches the market. We have it in front of us constantly. So
okay,
see that market shifting, we're going to go back and reanalyze all of our clients' loans to see if we can take advantage of a better rate for them.
okay,
Have a
okay,
lot of proactive things set in place.
okay. So we were talking about volatility. What causes the volatility?
Yeah,
I know it's complicated, but
it
in general terms.
a lot of complex factors. The inflation,
Mhm.
the secondary investment market for mortgage-backed securities. So there are a lot of factors that go into pricing a rate.
Okay,
Um, the secondary market is unsure what the future is going to behold. So they may
sure.
higher than normal just because of the uncertainty. So,
Okay,
specifically with investment property and second homes, they may price those higher because they anticipate rates falling in the coming year or two and
okay,
take advantage of refinancing those loans.
yeah,
So, they're trying to take advantage of getting a little bit more interest income from those loans before they're paid off.
right.
More predictability there is, the lower the rates will be, and
Okay,
higher the rates are, means there's just unsure instability,
Okay.
what's going to happen around the corner.
Okay. And again, on volatility, has it always been the case that rates change multiple times a day?
That's a good question. They can change multiple times a day. In the past few years, they have remained low and
Hmm.
decently stable. We would
Right.
shifts, but that shift would usually take place over the course of a week. Uh,
Okay.
Now we're seeing it shift in the course of a day, or it's even shifted in the course of an hour. Really have to keep your eyes on things and be ready to make a decision. Um, it's important to know exactly what your budget is, and if you see that product or that loan scenario that fits your overall plan, then take advantage of it and just go ahead and snatch it up. And you can continue to watch the rates and continue to shop. It's not the end of the world if you switch lenders, and as long as that's a benefit for you, then
Sure.
I have actually mentioned to clients before. I said, "Hey, the market has shifted in such a great way. You have to go with this other product. That's
Yeah.
going to be much more beneficial." And
Sure.
part of it, we've been able to come in and save clients additional money by the market shifting in favor of a different product. So,
Okay.
lots of ways to analyze that and help the client come to the determination of which loan product, which down payment, which interest rate, which closing cost scenario
Yeah.
is beneficial for them.
Okay. So that leads me to my next question. When someone is, let's just say, shopping mortgage loan originators, or however you want to say it, is interest rate the only thing they should be looking at if they're shopping three different lenders and they all give them different interest rates? Is that the only important thing or the most important thing?
Good question. That's a common point that our community seems to be focused on is
Hmm.
advertisements talk about interest rate.
Yeah.
So there is more to an interest rate than just the rate
Hmm.
or closing costs that go along with the transaction.
Yep.
And typically, the lower the rate, the higher the closing costs.
Right.
Versa, higher the rate, the lower the closing costs. So we help the clients determine which combination of rate and closing costs makes the most sense for their time span of how long they might see themselves in that particular home.
Sure.
If somebody is here temporarily for a year or two and they know they're going to be selling that property and moving to another state or another city, then buying a lower rate with discount points or origin
Hmm.
may not make sense.
Yeah.
So it's really math. If you just figure out how long you're going to be there or have an idea of how long you would like to be there, we
Hmm.
out the cost point of how long it would take to recoup the upfront costs of closing costs for a particular rate and help them make that determination. Sometimes it makes sense to buy the rate down, and sometimes it doesn't. And so,
Okay.
comparing two or three different lenders, you want to make sure that you compare the rate as well as the closing costs that that lender is charging. Uh,
Right.
and also, the down payment has some factor in the interest rate. So
Right.
might get a quote from lender A that may be higher or lower than lender B, but the
Hmm.
may be different. So you want to make sure you're comparing apples to apples,
Sure.
same loan product, um, same closing costs and rate comparisons. And that needs to happen in a pretty short window because the market is so volatile.
Hmm.
Comparing a rate and closing cost scenario from a lender from a few days ago may not be relevant that moment anymore. It could shift in either direction. So it could be the
Sure.
person. So you want to try to get those quotes as concise and as quickly as you can. And we are here to help you analyze those as well.
Okay. Very good. Well, tell us, what's a common misconception when people call you and start rattling things off about what they know about mortgages? What do people get wrong most often?
You know,
Consumers.
There has always been this general rule of thumb that everyone thinks they need 20% down to buy.
Hmm. Okay.
Not the case anymore. They have products that can put down 3% for first time home buyers. Depending on the loan product, there are 100% financing products. There are products with down payment assistance. So, having enough saved up for that down payment and closing costs
Yeah.
is typically a much lower number than people realize. And there are ways that we can structure that loan to help somebody get into a house earlier than if they were to continue to save up and continuing to pay rent.
Sure. Yeah.
The the benefit of home ownership is so great that let's
Yep.
take of it earlier than later.
Yep. Cool. Well, good. Well, thank you just for taking a few minutes and sharing your knowledge. And I appreciate what you do for our clients, and look forward to continuing our partnership. And we'll include Jonathan's contact info in the description here. Um, he's a great source of information to answer general questions about mortgages, financing, the money side of things that I can't answer when it comes to buying a home, whether it's a primary residence or an investment property. So feel free to reach out to Jonathan or myself, and we look forward to speaking with you if you're interested in buying a home. And Jonathan, again, thank you for your
Uh,
time.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great weekend.
You too. Happy Easter.
You too, man. Bye.